What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Welcome
What's up, guys?
to the final podcast of 2024, everybody.
What a year.
Episode 68, which you know what that means. Starting off 2025 with a bang.
Yeah, baby.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for everybody who tuned in last Thursday at the Game Awards. We had 7 viewers, an all-time high, I think, for a stream, probably. Maybe. I don't know. Something along those lines. But anyways, thank you guys. It was fun, even though the Game Awards suck. But it was still fun hanging out with everybody. Thank you to Ragnarok, aka Willie, for joining. It was a blast to have him. We'll have him next year again. And hopefully next time Bluey and Buffalo Bick will show up.
Sorry.
No, it's a long week. Lots going on.
No, but you didn't miss much, to be honest. There was a lot of SJW crap, a lot of modern audience propaganda, and the most anticipated game ever, turns out, is a bald Asian chick. Aren't you excited? But we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to skip weeks. Hopefully the Flash will join just in time for his favorite topic of Borderlands. And then, of course, we have to talk about Secret Level. That's all out now. I don't know if Buffalo's all caught up. But
I've watched 6 episodes, so not caught up. I just watched the Pac-Man one.
Okay. Well, you know what? To be honest, you probably watched all the best ones. So even though, yeah, it was more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of blusters, I guess. There were a lot of bad ones, I should say. There were only a few good ones, but there are some really good ones in there. So we'll get to those. And then we got our bracket fight, guys. The best versus worst of 2024. I don't know if this is going to be good or not. So we're going to try it out tonight. And if it sticks, we'll maybe do the same thing next year if this podcast still exists. So without further ado, I guess I will share my screen. Application window. All right, let's go. There we go. Okay. So first and foremost, this is a little old now. I guess December 4th, but we haven't met in a little bit. The casting for Severus Snape has officially been offered to this guy, Papa Asuda. That's the guy.
That's the one.
So he's the one. He's our new Severus Snape, guys.
Well, I don't think he's accepted yet.
Okay, he hasn't officially accepted. You're right. This is what they want for Severus Snape. But I mean, the resemblance is uncanny, if I may say so myself.
Yeah.
Perfect description from the book. Yeah, I think they nailed this. But Ryan Kindle had some other stuff to say. If this ends up being a real story after this entire show, the whole point of doing this series should be so you could adapt it to be as close to the books as possible. Snape is white. Dean Thomas, Lee Jordan, Angelina Johnson, and Kingsley Shacklebolt are black. The books are beloved by millions of people around the entire world, and there is no reason to change them, period. He furthers his point by saying, can't wait until we find out that James and Sirius actually hated Snape because they were racist.
Nice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's there's problems with doing it this way. Very obvious problems. If you make Hermione black like you did in the Broadway show Cursed Child, that's kind of racist based on what she represents. Not to mention just like really hitting the head on the nail on the head with the whole spew thing. If you've read the books, the whole freeing the house elves and everything from slavery. Yeah, a little bit on the nose there. And then, of course, there's been talks about making the Weasleys black, which is another problem. You're making the poorest family in the wizarding world black, and they're often made fun of for their poorness.
And even if you made Harry black, it's like, oh wow, they stuck the black kid under the stairs.
The orphan.
The orphan, yeah.
Yes. In this version, his parents didn't die; they just left him.
Ooh. Ouch.
So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, Snape is probably, the best out of all of those to turn. I shouldn't say the best, just the least worst to turn into interchange his race. But still, the book doesn't lack any diversity, of course, the series at all. J.K. Rowling is anything but based. So it's already got all the representation you need. And if there's been an argument of, okay, well, the books represented the UK in the 90s. That's what the makeup of the UK was. So we're trying to aim for a more modern audience. No, please don't. Please don't make it modern day Harry Potter. We want 90s Harry Potter. We want lore accurate Harry Potter. You still got your diversity. But beyond that, it's very problematic. Snape
The world was
is
diverse.
a villain.
It was just as diverse in the 90s as it was now.
Yeah.
Right.
Believe it or not.
They should make Adam Driver Severus. He'd be.
Well, the only problem with that is Adam Driver's American, and they're sticking to British actors. So
they'll stick to British.
They'll stick to one thing, but not. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I see.
So yeah, there it is. Hopefully he doesn't accept, but I have a feeling he will. So, this thing is already dead on arrival. This would have been probably the biggest television series of our lifetime, bigger than Game of Thrones, because there are a hell of a lot more Harry Potter fans out there than Game of Thrones fans. So yeah, disappointing, very disappointing.
Yeah.
And no, not because he's black, just because of what you're doing. All right. In good news, the Warhammer 40K series was officially moving forward with Prime Video. And okay, before you freak out, I know it's Prime here we're talking about, but Henry Cavill is going to star. I don't really know what he's playing at. We don't really know.
Yeah.
We don't really know what part of Warhammer they're adapting, but he really likes the what is his favorite army? Starts with an A. I always forget this. I always send it to you, and I'm like, oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, the Astartes Custodes.
Yes, Custodes. That's right. Yeah. So he might be playing one of those. He might be a Space Marine. Who knows? But he's going to star, so he'll be the main character, and he's also going to executive produce.
He might not be the main character. We don't really know.
I would assume he would be, but
I don't think he will.
Who
knows? If this is going to be coming off of like Space Marine, I don't think he's going to be Titus.
I don't think so either. Yeah,
him being like a Primus of sorts. The Titus.
Right.
But I am so hyped for this.
I'm very hyped for this.
Especially after
huge.
watching Secret Level.
Right.
It was a good episode. Yeah. And I don't know anything about the game, so.
But it made you, it intrigued you, didn't you?
It did, yes.
It definitely hyped me up for Space Marine too. So
yeah.
But yeah, so he'll be the executive producer though, so he's in charge. He makes final decisions. And
it's good because he's a 40K nerd.
That's his biggest thing. He loves 40K more than anything else, more than Witcher, more than Superman. So this is going to be huge. Hopefully it actually happens. But I'd rather it die than be terrible. So we'll see. So yeah, so that's good news. And then we got some more bad news. Greta Gerwig. If you're not familiar with Greta Gerwig.
Greta Gerwig.
I believe she was on something Marvel. I already forgot now.
She
Greta
did Barbie.
Barbie,
She's doing
that's
Snow
right.
White.
Oh, Snow White, that was the one thing, yes. So
Yeah.
she's, I believe, probably a producer on, screenplay by Greta Gerwig. So she's in charge of the screenplay, which is a big part of why it's going to suck. But I didn't hear about this. I didn't know this was actually happening, but she has an official Chronicles of Narnia film coming out or starting filming next year. And her take on it is it's going to be all rock and roll, whatever that
Gonna
means.
be
What
all
the heck
about
is
rock and roll, baby.
So it's like Jesus Christ Superstar, but with
Yeah.
I
Aslan.
want Aslan just totally shredding on the electric.
Aslan Superstar.
Aslan Superstar. Hear me roar.
Rock and roar.
Rock and roar. So this is very, very disappointing. There goes another good one. They're dying like
Jeez.
flies. Narnia, which previously was supposed to get a Netflix series, I believe, and each season was going to be a book. So that, I guess, it could still probably happen, but it's probably not going to. But man, I really hope this one dies. Just like, I mean, the hope is, just like half of or 3/4 of every Disney project out there flops or doesn't even happen. Hopefully this will be in there too. So we'll see. And I assume this is Disney. I would assume so.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
who else would hire her, first of all, and second of all,
Who
I'm
has the
pretty
right?
sure they have the rights to it. So it's either them or Amazon. But
It's probably
I don't know.
yeah. So there you go. All right, back to good news. We're just flip-flopping now. This could be bad news. We'll see. Hopefully it's good though. This was about the only thing that I was excited for out of the Game Awards, and that is Elden Ring Night Rain, which launches next year. We don't know when. Probably going to be around summertime. Well, Elden Ring came out in February, I believe, of 2022, and then the DLC came out June of last year. So this is a big surprise because nobody thought there would be anything else Elden Ring related. They even said, well, first they said there's no plans for a DLC. They also said there's no plans necessarily for an Elden Ring 2. So here it is, I guess. So it's not exactly an Elden Ring 2. It's a little bit different. It's kind of like a what would you relate it to in terms of other games?
I would consider this a roguelite attempt for Elden Ring or a From Software game. That's from what I've read, what I would consider it to be the most. So that would be like uh, the most pure forms of roguelites would be a Slay the Spire, um, Hades,
Hades, yeah.
where you go in, you expect to die the first couple of times till you figure stuff out, figure out what's going on, and then as you progress, you can get further and further and further. We don't know what aspects of a roguelite exactly are going to come into this, but it is going to be an attempt at a survival type.
Right. Yeah, so it is a survival game. It's basically 3 players, I believe, right? And there's 8 nights altogether. Basically, you have to survive each night.
There's 8 bosses, like main bosses total.
Right. You go a few days collecting loot. Basically, each day new castles appear. By the way, this is Nameless King from Dark Souls 3. They just threw him in there. Thought we wouldn't notice, but there he is. Crazy.
We're getting a mashup of bosses.
Which makes me think that there's going to be bosses from all the Soulsborne games in this, which would be pretty awesome. Especially if it's like randomly generated, then you're just going to get a random boss. Like that is going to be really cool. So I hope
I'm pretty sure it's reported to be RNG. So no successful run will be the same. So it's going
Yes.
to have high replayability.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I can
the
see us playing this for a long time
yeah,
if it's good. So
the mechanics so far as like people have researched is there's a day-night cycle. Every day you go throughout and search for loot and gear. Every night you get a mini boss, and every 3 cycles, so every 3 days, the third night is a main boss.
right.
And there are 8 main bosses that you have to beat to essentially win the run. So I
Yeah.
think that comes out to about 24 days total.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
so
Yeah,
and
so I
we
had
don't
that
really
wrong.
know how long the day-night cycle is.
I
Like
think it said it was about
5 minutes
15
long?
minutes each. Each day was about
Okay.
15 minutes.
So yeah, so you're looking at 30 minutes a day, and I did read that you would be able to like jump into a session, jump out, and not lose anything. Like you don't have to do it all in one go. So it's like
Right.
you can pick up where you left off, and kind of thing.
Yep.
But yeah,
Other
I'm
things
pretty
is
excited for this.
you don't actually die. You basically are in kind of timeout essentially until somebody can break this like meter that you have over you until that's completely gone. So they have to attack you essentially. One of your teammates has to attack you to bring you back. There's also no weight limits. You can carry any weapon you want. You can wear any armor you want. Point system is much better than the base game. You don't have to like carefully choose which ones you want to throw in. You just press X. This is where I want to put my points in. So leveling system super easy. You don't have to sit down at the site of graces. You just walk right up to it.
Mhm.
So it's basically it's going to be a really simplified version of the base game, and it's a only co-op game. I'm super duper excited about this.
I'm very excited for this.
That sounds more like my speed than the original game.
But it's still Dark Souls. It's Souls combat still though. So
yeah,
yeah.
but with Sekiro parries
Yes, that's true. Which
and movement.
hopefully they're bringing in elements from all the Soulsborne games. That would be pretty awesome. So yeah, I think I had. Oops, I'm on the wrong page. I think I had some more. Yeah, this was just some more of the information on that. But go check it out. There's a cool trailer out. We just kind of played it there.
And classes might actually mean something for this.
Right. Yeah, so
Yeah.
lots of cool stuff happening with that. Back to bad news. We got Witcher 4. So it's kind of already been rumored for a long time. Geralt is not coming back for Witcher 4. Ciri is going to take over. Most people were fine with it, but not to this extent. At least for me, it wasn't. First off, right off the bat, as this guy, ND Mayan said, CD Projekt Red has completely been hit with the DEI ugly stick. Just for reference, I don't know if I have it up. I don't. She was already grown up in Witcher 3, and they just decided to completely change her for Witcher 4. Now, I don't know how long after Witcher 3 this takes place, but she's generally looks about the same age. They just made her ugly. And it's not just people reacting that way. The devs actually said they did that on purpose to piss off the based people out there. So they did this on purpose. This was intentional. Her voice actor is different too. It's just everybody loved Ciri from Witcher 3. She was great. And they've just completely uglified her in multiple ways to become this. Not to mention, which I don't remember if I pulled it up or not. I don't think I did, but there's a lot of problems with this too. Ciri, even in the lore, Ciri can't actually become a Witcher. It's actually impossible for women to become Witchers. They can't survive the process of becoming Witchers. And Ciri has been she's obviously very powerful, magic wise. They've even tried to teach her Witcher signs, and she just can't do them. So this is, just like the TV show, completely breaking lore. It just doesn't make sense at all. And it's not for the fans who really like Ciri in the last game. It's really just to push a message, which is a real bummer because Witcher 3 is my favorite game. I love the Witcher series, the great books. So this is a big bummer, and I probably won't be playing this. It's just really sad for me, for Witcher fans. So that's disappointing. But
Yep.
I'm not going to play the trailer. If you guys want to watch the trailer, it's on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. So go check it out. It's a lot of it's a lot of those are some cool looking fights. You know, she's doing all this sorts of stuff, but it's all breaking lore. So if you go check out my Twitter, I actually reposted a whole tweet or sorry, X. Go to my X profile.
Formerly Twitter.
Formerly Twitter. And there's a whole thread I posted that kind of breaks down what's wrong with this according to the lore. So you should go check that out. But yeah, big bummer. I am really sad about this, actually. Most things I'm like, yeah, let it all burn, but Witcher is awesome. So
Yep.
Back to good news. We're just flip-flopping. I didn't plan this actually, but we are. Astrobot wins Game of the Year. How about that? That's pretty awesome. Which I was calling the whole time. I was like, Astrobot's gonna clean sweep, man. It's gonna get all the awards. It didn't get every award, but it got most awards that it was nominated for. So, yeah, I've been playing it this week a lot. It's a lot of fun. So well deserved. I'm super happy about that. Excuse me, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Not because of this. I think it's Witcher still is.
Witcher was still regurgitating.
Just regurgitated that. A lot of people, obviously, this guy, Black Myth Wukong, got robbed. I get it. But Astrobot's just amazing. And you know what? As much as cool as Black Myth Wukong is, it's still a Chinese game. So there you go. Not that this is an American game, obviously, but I think it's South Korean, maybe Japanese, something like that. So
might be Japanese because it's
Sony.
Sony.
Yeah. Well,
Could
it's
be
not
wrong.
necessarily their studio though. They just but
it might be Korean.
Yeah.
A great game.
Very great game. And back to bad news. So I'm kind of conflicted on this, to be honest. Before Arcane Season 2 even came out, we were like, it's got to win Best Adaptation. Obviously, it's Arcane. Now we've gotten Arcane Season 2. It's not great, but it was better than Fallout. Fallout was horrendous. And that one, Best Adaptation. I can understand why, because, visually, mechanically, there's a lot of things in the show that it's like, yeah, that's for sure Fallout. The music, the costumes, the setting, everything screams Fallout. It's just the story sucks. So, okay, if you're looking at it that way, I guess that's fair. It can be the best adaptation. But I'm kind of surprised Arcane didn't win. Because Arcane's huge.
Yeah, it's
guess
more
it kind of
global.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of goes to show that these are really rigged game awards. Because the people's vote doesn't really count at all. So yeah. I don't know. At the end of the day, who cares? It's the Game Awards. It doesn't matter to me. But yeah, just a little surprised by the outcome there. Sorry, no more good news. Back to bad news. Naughty Dog released their big new game. And if you were watching the show, they really hyped this up as like, this is the next big thing. This is the biggest game of all the games. And then the trailer released. I am not playing that trailer. I never want to watch that trailer again. But that was
like
embarrassingly
I'm pretty sure I had my
bad.
audio down or muted, and I was like just cringing at like watching without audio.
I mean,
can't even imagine what it's like with.
Yeah, it really screams like nostalgic 80s products, like Nike and Sony and all these different things from the 80s. The ship was like a Porsche ship that kind of looked like Akira in a way, but it was a ship instead of a motorcycle. But then they showed her, and this is your main character, your protagonist for Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. And the entire trailer was just basically two women complaining about a man. That was the entire trailer. Now, of course, we don't know anything about these characters, but still, it was just very ironic. And I mean, if your main character looks like this, then yeah, there's probably an agenda behind it. So yeah, sponsored by Porsche, should have been Jaguar.
That's funny.
Yeah, I am very excited to see the backlash this game gets, especially because they've been working on this game apparently for like 5 years or something like that. So, with the state of pop culture, Western pop culture, kind of turning the tide in that way, I'm betting this game just flops hard. Dead on Arrival. We'll see. It could be, as bad as Concord or Dustborn. Who knows? Concord died after a day, I believe it was. They took it down after a day. I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was like a day and a half or something like that.
No, it flopped the first day, but I think they took it down after a week.
It was a week. Okay, all right. So there you go.
Well, yeah, a lot of things have to happen for you to shut down your entire staff behind it.
Yes, right. And then Dustborn, I think it's still available, but I saw a post on X that said there was one concurrent player. They're like, Dustborn devs the only person playing their own game. Yeah, Dustborn. I don't know. We'll talk about those two in a little bit. Which one's worse? We haven't played them, obviously, but yeah. So we'll see. Another one to add to the ever-growing list of a modern audience games. Then we got 28 years later, 28 years finally. I like it. So yeah, this is a sequel to 28 Days Later and then 28 Weeks Later. Great. I've seen 28 Days Later probably once. I remember it being very good. I've never seen 28 Weeks Later, but everybody loves that that first movie. And they released a trailer for the new one coming out next year. And it looks really, really, really good. Not only does it look good as a film, but just the trailer was very, very well done. And just like kind of hypes you up, but also like it's just they put this like weird track in the background that really was reminiscent of like 1940s bomb shelter, end of the world. It was just a very well done trailer. And they also did a great job of not revealing any of the plot either, which often trailers do these days. So super duper good trailer. Go check it out if you haven't. And there's some people, it's about to come up here, that think that Cillian Murphy's character is a zombie now. Because there's a zombie that pops up here that looks almost exactly like him. They only show up for a very split second, but I'm guessing they did that on purpose. I think it's about to happen here. Basically, the idea though is you see all the skulls is the zombies have evolved and they are learning now, kind of like I Am Legend in a way. Man, I need to mute this. Okay. He's about to pop up, I think. We got Aaron Taylor Johnson. There he is.
The resemblance is uncanny.
A lot of people are saying that's him. I don't know.
I mean,
Hard to say.
he's definitely got like that sunken in like cheekbone and face, but like
but he's
that,
also a living dead.
His entire
So-
body's kind of sunk in too. So
right. Well, no, I meant Killian Murphy has those features, but like that's just like
right.
yeah, I don't know. I yeah.
I really have no opinion on this. I just thought it was funny. Everybody's talking about it. And yeah, I again, it's been a long time. I don't remember a lot, but I don't remember him dying. So yeah. Who knows? Who knows? But I also didn't see the second one. So yeah, this is probably gonna be, if it's good, my favorite movie next year, I think. I don't think there's really anything good coming out. So unless there's some surprising ones, this will probably take the cake. So that's hopefully gonna be good. But yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Rafe Fiennes is in it. I believe one other big actor's in it. But yeah, I mean, look at the comment section here.
Oh, it's
Ordering.
magnificent.
Everybody's hyped for this. We are so
We are
back.
so back.
Zombie Killian Murphy. There you go. Really excited for this movie. You mistakenly put some weird audio track over the trailer. Couldn't finish the video. No artistic video words. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a good trailer. So, yeah, the Ozempic diet. So yeah, I mean, it's not every day there's Ralph Fiennes there, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Not every day you get a cool trailer. So super duper exciting. And then our last bit of news is Borderlands 4. I was gonna actually wait until Zach showed up, but I honestly forgot. So this is Flash's thing. He's a big Borderlands fan. I know nothing about it. I know the movie was terrible, but only because they didn't follow lore at all, and just terrible script. They just didn't really incorporate anything for Borderlands at all, other than imagery. So, yeah, a lot of people love the Borderlands games. I thought the trailer looked very diverse, which I was like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's sequels coming out, especially for games, tend to suck now. So who knows? I'm gonna take a wild guess and say this is gonna be bad, but who knows? I could be wrong. Hopefully, I am. But Flash told me that he would get back into video games if we all played Borderlands 3 together. So
Borderlands
make-
3.
you know, if I have to make that sacrifice, I'll make it.
I have it actually.
I do too. I downloaded it, and then I've been having all these computer issues. Obviously, Tyler knows. So the whole thing is not installed for some reason. So whatever. But yeah, it's like up to, I think it's like 92 gigs because there's so many DLCs in there. So which I think are all free anyways. But yeah. So Nick, it's up to you. You got to get it.
Okay. We'll see.
You go, all right.
Well, actually, if we do the Steam sharing, you can actually get it from me. So
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, super duper meh trailer. Just looked diverse. Looked very much the same as the third game, except for the cast of characters. So I don't know if Flash has more to talk about when he gets here. He can talk about that. So for now, let's get into some secret level Russian roulette. Yes, I mean that's really what it was. It was very sporadic in terms of quality. There were some really good ones and there were some really, really bad ones. So first, based on what you've seen, Bick, what was your favorite episode?
Only my father calls me Bick. Did you ask what was my impression?
Okay, so yeah, first overall impressions, favorite episode, least favorite episode, whatever.
Overall impression is I don't know anything about the games, but in light of that fact, I still enjoyed, I guess, what I saw. Like, you can still enjoy them even if you don't know what the games are. I know what Dungeons and Dragons is. That episode was okay in my mind.
Mhm.
I think the Warhammer was my favorite, and then I think my second favorite was actually, from what I've seen so far, was probably the robot AI one, just because of the action was pretty cool.
Oh,
Um,
Unreal Tournament.
Unreal
yeah,
Tournament, yeah.
Unreal Tournament, yeah.
I
But
was kind of split on that one, but
yeah. Well, I think just out of the 6 that I've seen so far, there's not much to go on, but
so were there 7 or 8 episodes in the first half?
8.
There were 8? Okay. Yeah, so there's 15 altogether.
yeah.
Yeah. Warhammer, I mean, yeah, that was freaking awesome. That was
Just incredible.
chills the entire time awesome. That was
Oh,
like
yeah.
just pure unadulterated masculinity, just like sick, you know. It was so cool and badass,
And
and they
even the
did it.
story.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
I
it
love the
it was
story.
like
I mean,
an introduction to Titus.
yes, a very an origin story for Titus. I love anthology series like that. I love Death and Robots. It's the same creators. So I love these kind of short little anthology stories where the artists really have to do their best in a short amount of time to tell an entire story. And there are a lot of misses in this, but there are a lot of good hits. But yeah, the Warhammer, like the best part for me was, besides the obvious things, but I loved that they were really kind of indestructible. They seemed like they were impossible to beat, and then they get there and there's something more powerful than them that just murks them. And except for Titus, and that was really really cool because they didn't reveal who he was until the very end. I mean, talk about
Well,
like
they did.
great writing though, from in 15 minutes to have an arc, a great arc for a character like that from a young age, like so well done.
And they were walking the entire time, like just the confidence that they weren't like running or rushing. They were just
Oh yeah,
strolling,
they're just walking
strolling
and then
through.
they just jump down into the hole. Ah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Bluey, what
Well,
are your
so
thoughts?
they did show, like, who was on the strike team at the beginning.
Yes.
So, and they showed Lieutenant Titus. So, like, he was down there, and I knew what he looked like, so I was like, "Oh, there's Titus."
I knew
Like,
too, but I still missed it, I think, on it.
yeah,
I
so at
must
the
have missed
beginning,
it.
it, like, laid out who was going down with him.
Right.
And then, but I didn't know that the little boy was Titus,
Right.
right? And then I did see a meme where it was like when you're in someone's head and the little boy turns and looks at you, and it was like a picture of the monster, and it was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh no,
That was a cool monster. I
Yeah, that
liked
was
it.
giving me like Stranger Things vibes. It looked like
a little bit,
the Demogorgon.
yep. And then like carrying the psyker and like basically a coffin the whole time through, just like
Yeah.
dragging this
You-
random
you
box, and then they
forgot
open it
this.
up and it's a psyker. They go,
That was really cool, yeah.
oh.
He got wiped out.
I'm gonna watch that episode again for
I
sure.
think I will too.
It's just so good. I want to pick up on the details. Like I want to dive deeper. But yeah,
So what are your overall impressions, Bluey, and favorites, least favorite, all that?
a lot of fan service. Even if you don't like the episodes, like I do, I don't like a lot of them. A lot of
Yeah.
fan service. There's a lot of
Mhm.
good call outs, a lot of like cool things that at least makes it worth the first watch. It's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
um, especially if you like played the game or you know about the game. There's a lot of fan service, a lot of call outs, a lot of bringing in stuff that people love about the games,
Mhm.
or even like the feelings of the games. I would say more so in the first 8 that came out. The last 7 were, eh,
Pretty
you
meh. Some were really bad.
yeah, some were actually pretty bad. So as of right now, top by a long shot is 40K.
Yep.
I would say my second favorite, um, I might have to agree with you, Nick. Unreal Tournament was really cool because it was at least like a complete story, and it definitely gave me the Love Death Robots vibe, like 100% through.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I would say that's probably a second, but not close. Like 40K just trumps everything. My least favorite, either the PlayStation one at the end or Concord.
I think Concord was just awful.
Right. So
Awful.
it's a tie for the bottom right there
But
with those
the
two.
thing is, we knew it would be awful, so it was almost
That's true.
the PlayStation one was almost worse because I was so hyped for that one because
Yeah,
Kratos was in it.
Kratos, yeah.
I'm like, freaking,
Yeah.
like, what a waste! What a waste! He
If-
didn't even
so-
say boy.
So the
Like,
story
what
was
did you
bad.
do?
Well, yeah, because the main character was a girl.
Yes,
Girl.
yes,
Girl.
girl.
I would say, like, at least in that one, you've got a lot of fan service for PlayStation fans.
Yes.
I would
yeah.
say, right? Like you've
You
got
had
a
a
lot
lot.
of games. Helldivers were in there. Like that was cool. I enjoyed seeing the
Shadow of the
Helldivers.
Colossus. Yeah, Sackboy.
They said you can't run from freedom. Like that. That's pretty funny. But
I did like the Helldivers.
I didn't like how they never shot any at her. Like they never shot at anybody.
I know.
I was like, all right, whatever. But I like seeing the Helldivers.
The story was also just really lame and like
Yeah,
didn't
the
really
story wasn't
make sense.
The story wasn't great, but the fan service and like callouts were okay. Concord, all of the above was bad. So I think I would just put that at the bottom. Like, why do you even have an episode for a game that died in a week? Like
Right. Well, they probably made it before that, but still.
don't care. Should have known better.
Take it out.
Yeah,
that's
don't
the one
release it.
thing. I wish more of these episodes were catered towards games that already have a huge fan base or been out for a while, instead of just being kind of, these are new releases coming out. Here's a little kind of trailer for it in a way. And yeah, so like there are a lot of those. Concord. I did really like the Pac-Man episode. I thought it was a really cool, twisted version of
very
Pac-Man.
twisted.
Again,
But it's
Death
a
Robots.
game. The very love
was
Death and
Love
Robots.
Death- yeah.
Extremely love Death and Robots. But also it is almost a promo for a new game coming out, actually, which they
Right.
did announce at the Game Awards. It's a Pac-Man type game. They don't actually say Pac-Man, but it's Pac-Man. And it's basically the same exact thing. You
also
play
had-
as the character.
It had some Tim Burton 9 vibes too.
Yeah.
The main character kind of felt a little bit like that.
True. Eat. It's almost
I would
Mrs.
say-
Pac-Man too, not even Pac-Man.
I would say probably most disappointed one for me. Mega Man.
Mega
Biggie knows
Man
why.
was very yeah, it's disappointing, I guess is a good word. I wouldn't know if say it's the most disappointing. It was just cut really short. It was
It was 5 minutes.
The shortest episode in
Oh
the
my cow.
series. It was 5 minutes. You have Mega Man, he finally gets his suit and then it's over. So like it's kind of like he's a kid, he's not Mega Man yet, and this robot attacks
He's Mega
them
Boy.
and he's Mega Boy. It was so funny though. He was like, can I save the world or something like that? He's like, I was like, no, Mega Man, you can't be a hero. What are you talking about? It's like, why'd you name me Mega Man, Dad? I don't know. It was just funny. It was very predictable and just also kind of depressing that like you got him and then it's just like it's over.
You see Mega Man
But-
and then it's like you don't get to see Mega Man.
Right. Extremely rushed in general too.
Yep.
Biggie, you and me are the same man. We both love Batman and not to love a man in tight leather. I don't know if that's the reason I like Batman,
What's
but
not to love? What's not to
you
love?
know,
but a man
it's
in
not.
tight
It's
leather?
certainly a perk. It's certainly a perk of Batman. I do love Batman. I am a little crazy about Batman. Actually, I got my Funko Pop here too.
Unboxed. That's a crazy man.
I actually have a lot of unboxed ones, only because I don't have room for boxed ones. So,
Fair enough.
and I really don't care about reselling these. So, anyways, so yeah, just yeah, I think that was disappointing. I think the PlayStation personally was more disappointing for me based on the Kratos stuff, but also the more I think about it, I'm like, the God of War games are so flushed out in terms of story, or fleshed out. Is it fleshed or flushed? I think it's
Fleshed.
fleshed. Fleshed. They're so fleshed out in terms of story, anyways, that it'd be kind of weird to have, unless you did like a really early Kratos, young Kratos or something, or even old Kratos. But then again, that could screw up another game, a new game release. So, yeah. So I'm also kind of okay with the fact that they didn't touch Kratos in that way.
I mean, you could have
still.
just animated a boss fight.
Right. It could have been an adventure with Atreus and Mimir. That would have been really cool. But still, I there is a lot of story. Honestly, actually, now I think about it again, there is a big time gap between God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. So I guess you could have done something in that time frame. So, but oh well, missed opportunity. And what we got was the alternative was not great.
Trash.
What is the best Batman actor? It's hard to say. I like Michael Keaton, but the best. But I think Ben Affleck looks the best. His Batman looks the best. But I think Michael Keaton is my favorite personally. So, but yeah, you guys have
Adam
any-
West. Adam West is not the best Batman.
I don't know. I like Christian.
Adam
Bale.
West is great. I do like Christian Bale, but I
how
just like
Christian
those
Bale
movies.
looks.
I really like those
I-
movies.
Yeah,
I don't like the Batman aspect of it though.
I like Batman Begins Christian Bale. I don't really like what they do to his suit over the series. Just seems like it gets more constrictive and like his head looks really big and wobbly.
It's very metallic, and yeah, he kind of does look like a wobbly head, a bobblehead. I like if you're gonna go that route, I like what they did in the games much better than the Nolan series. But I love
the Professor X mod Batman.
Professor X mod. Yes.
Your favorite Batman?
That is my favorite Batman. Yes, you are correct. When we lived under Corona, Batman saved me. Okay, I'm glad.
Oh, hey, I'm glad
awesome.
Batman saved me.
Batman's pretty awesome. Anyways, so Secret Level. Yeah, a lot of bad episodes. I guess we could kind of go through them really quick. Secret Level episodes. I'm just gonna name them. So Dungeons and Dragons, meh, bad. Sifu, I liked that one a lot. That was a good one. I didn't know much about the game, so that was a really cool concept.
I wish it was a bit longer, but
yeah.
Yes, I agree. Looks like Flash. Okay, never mind. New World. I didn't like it at all. I also just didn't like New World as a game. So, and then Unreal Tournament, we talked about that. I think my thing about it was I didn't like how quickly the AI took over, or there wasn't really much of a reason in general for it. So I didn't like that. Warhammer 40K, we loved it. Pac-Man, great. Crossfire, it was very meh, middle of the road. Better than the later episodes, but not great. It was just kind of like very ethically weird in terms of warfare, like no good guys, no bad guys, we're all just fighting, and it's like I don't agree with that, but yeah, it looked really cool though. Visually, it was a cool episode. Armored Core, that was a good one. I liked that one a lot, actually. That was one of my top episodes. It's cool to see Keanu Reeves back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, love that. And then Outer Worlds. So that was the first episode of the second half of the series. That was also, it was super duper mid. I don't know. The main character was weird, and he
No,
just didn't
actually,
make it.
that was no.
It was very mid, and then it plummeted at the end because he
Yeah.
chose this girl who was very
Bad.
toxic and bad, just evil. Yeah, just straight up evil. And he was like, "Yeah, whatever. You can go keep doing evil stuff. I like you." Yeah, and just sad, really, really sad too for him. Just terrible outcome.
Absolute beta.
Yes, and there's an Outer Worlds 2 game coming out, so that's why I assume that's why they made an episode for that. That looks very diverse. That's gonna be my new favorite word for that. It's like I'm not really making a stance. I'm just saying it's diverse. So you can take whatever meaning you want from that. Mega Man, that episode we talked about that.
Meh.
Yeah, just disappointing overall. Exodus Odyssey, it was slightly better
okay.
than mid.
Better than meh.
It was cool.
I'm doing
There were that one also felt very Love, Death, and Robots. That was like that one episode where that guy was like stuck in space and he thought he was like with this girl, and it turns out she was like a big giant spider. Remember that episode?
Yeah.
And it was all like an illusion. It kind of looked like that episode. And yeah, I don't know. I don't like Interstellar, so I got a lot of Interstellar vibes from it, but cool space travel stuff. And then Spelunky, I hated that episode. Trash. Looked like Arcane. Felt like modern day Tomb Raider. So
also not a diverse cast.
Not a diverse cast at all. They were very white. So
and
although
females
and females, well, yeah.
not diverse. That's one type.
You're right. That's true. This is true. Concord, that's probably the worst. The plummet of the plummets. Honor of Kings, probably the best of the later episodes. That one was pretty cool. It was very anime. I've never heard of that game though. I thought it was the one, just by looking at the title. I thought it was the one we had played together. You know, that PvP game where it's like there's different classes. For Honor, that's what I was thinking. And then I'm like, no, this is not it. So yeah, I don't know what Honor of Kings is. But it was cool take on like ninja games with also AI technology mech in there as well.
Oh, so, it's a MOBA like League of Legends.
Oh, interesting. Is it top view type of game?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, it's basically it's League of Legends but different.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Also, yes, I agree. Game Awards were cringe. And then the final episode was Playtime Fulfillment. That was the PlayStation one. Sucked. Now, episode. Yes.
Honor of Kings is a mobile MOBA.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, there you go. There was one episode that was announced that didn't show up, was the Legends of Zelda one. I don't know what happened to that one.
Is there not more episodes coming out?
No, this was it for season 1. Are there any more secret level episodes coming out? Nope, just the second season. Oh, wait. No. Never mind.
It's renewed for season 2.
Renewed for season 2. Yep, that's the latest. So yeah, that's all we got for season 1. But there you go.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Roulette, secret level edition.
Secret level overall, it's nowhere near Love, Death, and Robots for me. So,
except for 40K.
Except for 40K, which I will watch again. no doubt,
100%, multiple times.
multiple times for sure. We playing
Until the
Space
live action
Marine
comes out.
tomorrow. We gonna do that
Not
lunchtime?
tomorrow. Thursday.
Thursday? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, without further ado, best and worst of 2024. So I've created a little bit of a bracket fight here. I don't know how well this is gonna work, but we're gonna give it a try. I basically have the top eight best films, top 8 best shows and games of 2024, and then on the other side, the worst. So before we start, I do want to mention some of the ones that did not make the cut, because
They were so bad, or
they were so mid, honestly, that it was just like, yeah, these are the best and the worst. And let me be honest, as far as films go, there were not a lot of good movies this year.
No.
So it was kind of sad. Okay, so honorable mentions for, let's see. Okay, for best, so this is the best category: films, Furiosa, very mid. Boy Kills World, Smile 2. I put Nosferatu in here because I think it's going to be really good, and that's probably going to end up being my favorite movie of the year if it is good. But it's not out yet, so I can't really put it on here. The Wild Robot, I've actually heard is fantastic, but again, I haven't seen it, so I can't really vote on it. Inside Out 2, I did see that. It was cute, and it looks
good.
It looks like it was supposed to be woke, and then they took some parts out because they knew it wouldn't be received.
Backlash.
But it is Disney's, it is Disney's best top selling movie of the year. So
the first was good. I did enjoy the first one.
I do really like the first one, yeah. And then the last one is Red One. I've heard people say that they enjoy it. I don't know if it necessarily qualifies as the best.
Isn't that sad that we have to say like mid-tier media is like, I enjoyed it. You know, like,
I know.
Isn't that sad? Like,
yeah.
Just wait until you see the best movies of the year. It is really sad. All right, and then for shows, I only have 2 honorable mentions for shows: Solo Leveling and Dan to Dan. They're actually both animes. I've heard they're incredible, especially Solo Leveling, and I'm very excited to watch that. But I haven't yet. So, and then as far as games, I actually had a bunch of honorable mentions for best: Rise of the Ronin. It's a PlayStation game. Batman Arkham Shadow, which was the VR game. It actually won best VR game. Yeah, duh. Why wouldn't it?
I mean, Batman literally saved Polar Knight.
He did. Yeah. I always used a Batman mask. Better safe than sorry. That's funny. I used the Batman mask too, actually, in 2020. So there you go. I was like, might as well. If I hate wearing these things, might as well wear one I like. And then we got Pal World. That was like the Pokemon ripoff that everybody loved.
Because it had guns and torture and slavery.
Oh, yay. And that's what you come to X for, is some light racism, some lighthearted racism. So,
but it's okay because we use the app in dark mode. So
that's
okay.
right. That's right. It's basically using the black box in your profile picture,
Right.
Yeah. We got Hades 2, which is still in early access. Fallout London, that was the fan mod for Fallout 4. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which did win some awards this year. Black Ops 6. I don't know if it deserves that spot, but people liked it. So
it's like touted as the best COD in years, and it looks as such.
Right. So. And then last honorable mention is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. I had to throw it in there, but I also didn't think it deserved a top spot. So, all right. So those are the best. And then we have the worst categories: films, honorable mentions. Argyle. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Nope, don't remember.
Still not as bad as some of the other ones that came out this year. Beekeeper, probably the best of the worst, but also just kind of bad.
The best mid of the worst.
It was very
So just mega mid. It's just mega mid.
extremely. It didn't know what kind of movie it wanted to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Trap, that was the M. Night Shyamalan movie. It was terrible. It was so bad. But M. Night's movies have gone downhill. So, anyways. Craven the Hunter, I haven't seen it, but it's Morbin time too, basically. So,
Morbin time, baby.
and Craven the Hunter will go down now as the last Sony Marvel movie ever. So
Yep. They
it's all
want to
done.
give it back to they want to give it all to Disney.
It's all done. So good job, Craven. I got Mufasa the Lion King on here because we all know that's gonna be trash. And then the last one is Civil War. That was the American Civil War movie that came out. Not American as in like the actual Civil War, but modern day Civil War, and just propaganda. And then we got for shows. I put Arcane season 2 on here because it's again very mid. I didn't think it deserved a spot on the worst shows, but I also didn't think it was good. So we got Dune Prophecy, just super duper boring.
So boring.
It's extremely boring. Skeleton Crew, just for kids,
show.
you know.
Yeah.
And then we got the animated Tomb Raider show. So yeah,
Wow, that didn't make the worst. Okay.
it did not make the worst. And then for games, I only have one honorable mention for worst, and that's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Just super duper boring, extremely boring. Nothing against necessarily like how it looked or anything like that. Just a very boring game. And it was broken. So, all right, so let's get into it. The official best and worst of 2024 bracket. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right, so first round, we got The Gentleman TV show versus Secret Level. Which now that I put this in, I put this in previously. Now that I've seen it all, I don't know if it necessarily deserves a spot here, but whatever, it's in here. So
I haven't seen the first one. What's the gist of that?
Have you ever seen the Guy Ritchie Gentleman movie?
Nope.
Okay. I haven't actually seen this show, but everybody raves about it. Bluey has seen it.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
I'm willing to give it to The Gentleman, to be honest, based on what we've seen.
Yeah, I thought you were just soloing out the 40K episode, and I was like, oh, that's
well,
all the way.
I can't do that.
No. So, Gentleman.
I thought about it for a millisecond there.
Yeah. No. Gentleman.
I can't do that.
Gentleman.
All right, so The Gentleman wins. Round 2, we got Shogun or Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc. I mean, I put am I racist? I put the two Japanese ones up against each other.
Wait, is this the best side?
Yes, this is the best side.
Okay.
All right, I should have said that.
Okay.
This is the best side, then the right side is the worst side.
Okay.
So
I've heard good things about both, but I've never seen either.
I've only seen Demon Slayer, so Bluey, you'll have to kind of give your input on Shogun. But I've heard it's like the Japanese Game of Thrones, essentially.
Yeah, Shogun is so good. I hate that you did this. Why did you put two Japanese against? Okay,
because we got a lot of good ones here. For
you might hate.
This was actually going back. This was a good year for shows. Actually, there were a lot of good ones.
You might hate me for this, but I really think Hashira only got good towards the end.
It was definitely boring. Okay, I'm gonna take that. I don't think it was boring. It was very slow burn. It was a very slow paced, slow burn. But I like that. So most people
don't like it in 20-minute episodes that I have to wait a week for.
Right. The problem was we couldn't binge this. So yes.
Shogun, every episode's a ride.
Yeah.
And it's an hour-long ride.
I'm willing to give it to Shogun. So
I personally would give Shogun, but I feel bad giving Demon Slayer out early. But I'm gonna have to say Shogun.
We got a lot of good ones in here, so it's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Shogun if you're okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with
Buffalo. You got
it. I like hour episodes better than 20-minute episodes. So
okay, I think we all know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
But I had to put X-Men 97 in there because I know it was good. But I'm sorry,
Penguin.
Yeah.
Penguin's going all the way, baby. We'll see.
Is it?
But
Is
I
it?
think it will. I think it will.
Huh.
All right, so I was hoping Flash would be here because he's the only one who's watched the show on the right. That is Three Body Problem. I've heard some good things about it. It's a Netflix show. You know what?
We're gonna
Netflix
be shooting blind here.
usually does pretty good.
Hmm.
But
I don't know. I see one on the right side by Netflix.
shh,
sorry.
we'll get to that. But then we're also talking about Hot D season 2. So I'm
Yeah.
full on Hot D season 2. So I'm sorry. I don't think, even if I saw Three Body Problem, I don't think I could pick anything other than Hot D here. So
Honestly, this you might call me flip flopping, but the ending of Hot D2 is like makes up
well,
for it,
of course, but
right?
that's just the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
For the
No.
most part, the season was great.
That's true. That's true. Yep. Yeah, because I haven't seen the right one. The three body
Three Body Problem. Yeah.
problem? I'll go
Yep.
with Hot D2.
It's very sci-fi. I do want to watch it, but I don't think it's Hot D.
And is that Samuel Tarly in the show?
That is Samuel Tarly. Yeah, Game of Thrones. There you go. I unintentionally put them together, but
Yeah, Hot D.
I'm good with Hot D because I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a bit, and I would say it's good.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
All right. Well, now we're moving on to movies. So we got Transformers 1 versus Beetlejuice. I've seen
I haven't
both of
seen either.
these.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
either, but I've heard better things about Transformers.
Beetlejuice was not bad. It was very good. Like, it was just kind of like, why was this made? You know? But it was fun sequel to the original. And I just freshly watched the original right before I saw this. So it was fresh on the mind. I really liked it a lot. But Transformers 1 really surprised me because I thought this would be trash. And it might just be my favorite movie of the year. If
Whoa.
not for Nosferatu, which I'm still holding hope for.
Whoa.
It was
I really
incredible.
gotta watch this. I gotta watch
It was
Yeah.
I loved it. And here's the
Okay.
thing that you don't see very often. Ragnarok, Willie and I disagree on almost everything when it comes to entertainment, and we both were enjoying this movie. We saw it
That's
together,
great.
and we loved it. So
What platform is that on?
I don't know, honestly.
I can look it up. You can keep going. Pick it.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
So I'm gonna pick Transformers 1. Okay, so now we got Dune Part 2 versus Watchmen Chapter 1.
I haven't seen Watchmen.
So if you've seen the original Watchmen, or if you've read the comic book, graphic novel, or watched the graphic novel motion graphic version, you know it. It's just an updated version of it in terms of animation. New actors, obviously. I think it's fantastic. But it's also just like, I've seen this before, you know? Some of the voice acting, I actually don't like that much, but they did a fantastic job of like 1-to-1 with the graphic novel. So they did really good. But on the flip side, I am not a big fan of Dune Part 2. I think it deserves a spot on the best because, again, there's really not a lot to choose from. But I think it was very okay. But I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. Yeah, this is kind of unfair for me because I don't really know Watchmen very well. But I personally would pick Dune, but I'll defer.
Well, we can debate. I mean, that's fine. If you guys both pick Dune, that's fine with me.
And I mean, the soundtrack is really good.
Yes, the soundtrack is very good. It was very cool to see it in the Imagine Theater, that huge theater. That was really awesome.
And I will say, like, usually the part 2s of trilogies aren't the best.
It was not as good as Part 1, though.
No, but like you got to fill in. You have a lot of gaps that you got to fill in for the big the big finale. You know what I mean? So
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it.
you were disappointed. Yeah.
I was disappointed for sure. But I'll give it to it. That's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Watchmen is very niche, you know.
We're really favoring the left one here.
This is true. I didn't notice that. Okay, so this one might actually be hard.
This is a really hard
So Fall Guy on the right, and we got Deadpool versus Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine. Or just
Fall Guy
Deadpool.
might be one of my favorite movies of the year. I actually really enjoyed it.
I agree. Actually, I need to see Deadpool and Wolverine again, but I came out seeing a lot of issues with it, loving like the fan servicey moments a lot, and it was fun to watch in the theater. But it's just like it's another mid Marvel movie, you know. It's just not as bad as the other crap.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fan service, or like with cameos and stuff. But
Yeah.
they were good cameos.
They were fun. It was just the plot was so broken. And it was also just all the Loki stuff in it. I'm just like, come on.
But to be fair, Ryan Reynolds wasn't set up with a good hand from the rest of Marvel. You know what I mean? Like they did this whole multiverse crap.
They didn't have to spend all their time in the void though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. As I remember it now, the whole TVA stuff kind of sucked.
Yeah, and then the ending with like everything with Wolverine's character was just like flip-flopped basically in terms of his motivation as a character. He just kind of gave up on. Also just like, oh, never mind, we can't fix your timeline. Sorry, and he's just okay with that. And also just like the hero, like the main character of your universe, whatever that was called. I hated that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was.
There's also the anchor being. Yeah, that was retarded. And then there's mall cop lady from the TVA. Didn't like that she was such a pivotal role in it. The villain's whole like ending was bizarre. There was just so many problems with the movie, I thought.
Yeah, Fall Guy is my vote.
I liked Fall Guy a lot, and I don't like rom-coms, but
I've only seen Deadpool Wolverine, so
that's fair. Okay, well then we outvote you.
No, I agree with everything you're saying about Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, it just because I've seen it doesn't mean I want to vote for it.
yeah, that's fair. I do have to watch it again. Actually, I think I might have seen it twice. I can't remember now. But yeah, okay. Now we got some of those summer blockbusters. We got Twisters, and we got Quiet Place Day One. Have you guys seen any of these? Either of these?
I saw Twisters, but not Quiet Place.
No.
Louis? No.
I actually
like
really
both
like
of them.
I like what's his name. I think he's a fun actor.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was not a bad movie. I mean, yeah, it's not blow you out of the water, but I enjoyed it.
I called it. I knew it.
I did. I liked both of these movies a lot, and these were two that I thought would be bad. So, I think overall I had more fun with Twisters, but I think Quiet Place had better acting. It was really good.
Okay. I personally love the soundtrack to Twisters too because of all the country artists.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I'm torn on this one. I'm really torn. I'm torn apart by the Twister. I think you know what? Bluey, you or Nick, talk about it for a second. I think I'm gonna look at my at my ratings and see which one I rated higher.
I think I really like the Quiet Place movies in general, so I'm sure I'll enjoy A Quiet Place Day One if I watch it whenever I watch it. So I can see it being better and maybe more enjoyable. But just based on what I know, I would probably vote for Twisters, but that's just my thoughts. Is
Think.
John Krasinski in this one, or none of those actors in this?
No, they're
John
not.
Krasinski's not. So it is
Okay.
basically an anthology in terms of in that universe, but
Oh, okay.
it takes place in New York,
Oh, jeez.
Manhattan
so
on
much
day
noise.
one. So there's so much noise.
Yeah.
It's just really cool. It's like, yes, of course, this would be the best place to show what happened, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, I really like that actor. What's his name? Eddie from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
I like him a lot, and he's pretty good in this. Glenn Powell's great, but the main character from Twisters was very bland.
Yeah.
Very, very bland. So I gave that one a 6. Quiet Place Day 1, I gave that a 6 out of 10. Twisters, I gave a 6 out of 10.
Wow. Doesn't help.
Shoot.
I'm
What
willing
the-
to be convinced of Quiet Place if that's what you feel is better. Because if it was the first of its kind, I would be more nervous. But I already know that I like the Quiet Place movies.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna give it to the Quiet Place. I think it deserves. It was good.
Based on what I'm hearing online or what I've heard online,
Yeah.
Twisters is okay, but there's not actually a lot of traction about it. I got a lot more traction from day one.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun with the haunted house, the Quiet Place haunted house.
That's true.
That was really cool.
So my vote goes to day one for that.
All right. Cool. I'll give it to them. All right. We got it. Well, I guess Fall Guy was
Oh,
right
no,
then.
you
Okay.
did not.
Now we move to games.
No, you did not do this.
So I got Astrobot or
Oh
Path of
my
Exiles 2. Okay.
You idiot. Why did you do this?
Because there's a lot of big ones in here. It's hard to do this. Okay. There's a lot of
Yeah.
good games. So
Alright.
Astrobot, Path of Exile 2. I've only played Astrobot. I'm very, very, very excited for Path of Exile 2, though. It's like everything I love about games in one game.
Okay.
So
One thing I gotta
yes,
say.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
The Path of Exile that's out right now is early access beta.
Right.
So take that with a grain of salt. Astrobot, fully done, dusted, game of the year. Right?
We could bring it back next year, honestly, Path of Exile 2.
Right. I think the complexity versus the simplicity is so hard to pick. But off of watching both, I would find myself wanting to play Path of Exile more than Astrobot.
I would agree.
Like, it has crossed my mind multiple times this week to just spend the $30 and get it.
I see. I asked you, and you're like, "No, I'm not doing that."
That's not how I thought about it. Okay, I thought about it, and then now I keep thinking about it. It keeps popping in my head because I watched streamers.
For me, it's just I don't know. The server the waits is so long, so I don't know if that was just day
Not
one,
anymore.
but
It's just day one.
yeah, it looks a lot of fun. For me, it's like, okay, I could spend the $30, but I also have so many games to play right now.
You just
I
wait
might
till
as well
free.
wait. Yeah, till it's free, literally. So, but yeah, you tell me if you get it.
Okay, but
And
I'm
then
gonna
I might
pick it for
actually
this.
buy it myself.
Kind of crazy that you picked this because Astrobot won Game of the Year, but Path
It's
of
true.
Exiles
I made
got my
this
vote.
list a week ago, so I did this before the Game Awards even came out. So
Path of Exiles got my vote.
I have no vote.
I'm willing to agree, but the only contingency is that it's gonna be in the list next year. So
Okay.
So fine, whatever. All right, so now we got Black Myth Wukong versus Chained Together.
Chained Together. Insta live.
It just wins everything.
Actually, it just beat down Black Myth even more for not winning Game of the Year.
Yeah,
It loses
right.
To a $5 indie game.
I love Chained Together so much. It is amazing.
Is that kind of like It Takes Two in a way? Like the
Yeah.
same
Not at
concept?
all. Not at all.
Oh,
In
Well,
terms of platforming,
concept-wise.
yes, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
what I
the.
mean. Yeah.
It's It Takes Two is definitely more big studio than Chain Together. Chain Together
right.
is very, very indie, and it's the graphics are terrible, but it's so much fun. It is a blast. And I would almost make you play it if you had more time. It's awesome. Black Myth Wukong though, overwhelmingly positive, like the highest rated game on Steam, or up there at least now. It's probably not the
Yeah.
highest, but
I'd give
it's
it
up
to
there.
it. I'd give it to Black Myth.
Yeah, I would probably agree. It probably deserves it.
Yeah.
So
It
we're gonna
got
pick
snubbed
Chain
again
Together.
last
Yeah, I'm fine with that. All right, next we got Stellar Blade versus Space Marine 2, kind of the two sci-fi ones I
Wow.
paired up together.
Are you kidding me? Why did you do this? I'm gonna go 40K. Space Marine 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 40K, but that's biased though, speaking, because Stellar Blade was also a really, really good game.
Yes. But
and
who
it's
actually played
also
it for the plot? I mean,
Souls.
the
Yeah.
actual plot.
Yes, you're not wrong. But also, it's a Souls game. It's a really, really good Souls game, or Souls-like game, I should say. But so, like, in terms of what's a better game, I guess I don't really know because I haven't played either yet. So, but in terms of bias, I would choose Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
100% agree.
All right, so I guess we're doing it. All right, then we got Marvel Rivals versus Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Two completely different genres. Hero
Very, very
shooter
different.
versus story. I love Marvel Rivals. I haven't played Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2 was up for Game of the Year. It had a lot of big awards nominations. I don't remember what it might have won Best Narration or something like that.
Story
Or, sorry,
driven, maybe.
Best Narrative, I mean. But I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, it's overwhelmingly positive versus Marvel Rivals is more mixed reviews. Or mostly positive, I should say, on Steam. But yeah, I don't know.
It's hard because they're completely different genres.
They are.
Like, it really comes down to what you like in a game. And I love multiplayer games more than I like story games. So I would lean more towards Marvel Rivals. But that's my opinion.
Nick, you got nothing.
I am no help in this section.
That's okay.
I mean, I would probably be more apt to play the Marvels, but Marvel Rivals.
What are you thinking, Biggs?
I want to say Marvel Rivals, but I think Silent Hill 2 is probably the right answer. But I think we can give it to Marvel Rivals.
This is our bracket.
This is our list.
Nobody's
You're
telling
right.
us what to do.
So we'll
This
give it
is
to Marvel
us.
Rivals. All right. Going back up to the top, we got Shogun versus The Gentleman.
Oh, we're not going to the other side first?
No, we gotta complete the best, and then we'll go to the worst.
Okay. No, this is hard.
It's all on you. I'm thinking personally, I would rather, if I were given both of these to watch, I would probably choose Shogun.
Probably me
based
too.
on personal preferences, but I would definitely still watch The Gentleman right after.
Yeah, the Shogun sounds
Yeah.
more intriguing.
Shogun, give it to it.
All right, let's do it. All right. Oh no. My two favorite shows of the year.
Ooh.
Dang. That's hard.
I'm gonna give it to Penguin though. Personally, I
Personally, I agree.
I would
Penguin's
agree.
amazing.
Yep. I agree.
All right.
We're
Now,
very
now, Penguin
decisive.
versus Hot D season 1 would probably be harder for me, but I think
Yes, but I still
overall,
think I'd give it to Penguin.
Penguin is just flawless in my opinion. So, all right, Penguin it is. Back to movies. We got Transformers 1 versus Dune Part 2.
I can already tell what
know-
you're gonna pick.
I already
Yep.
yeah. I was gonna say.
Because you said this was your favorite movie of the year,
Yeah.
Dune Part 2. No, I'm kidding.
And you're right. Give
yeah.
this man an award. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no help on this one, but I would probably enjoy Transformers 1 more than I would
I'm good with
or
that
Dune
choice.
Part 2.
All righty. Enough said. All right, Fall Guy, Quiet Place, day 1.
I don't know. See, I really enjoyed Fall Guy a lot, but those are I don't know. They're two different genres. It's
Very,
like
very
one,
different.
like an action comedy versus horror thriller.
Yeah. In terms, I guess you got to look at this one in terms of these are both blockbusters, so it's more like what is going to give you more enjoyment, watching it. Not necessarily great films, but it's just like enjoy the movie, have fun with it.
Probably Quiet Place. Maybe. It's
Quiet. Fall Guy definitely had its cringe moments. It did have some cringe moments.
Yeah, I mean Aaron Taylor Johnson, I love him. He had those kind of cringy bad guy moments, but
yeah, there were a lot of jokes that were really bad, but I really liked Ryan Gosling a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was just so interesting the way that it's like the real fight, the quote unquote real fight scenes. He knew how to do that, how to handle them because he's been faking them his entire life.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
That's tough.
I think I gave Fall Guy a better review rating. Let me just.
I don't know. Now I'm just really curious to watch Quiet Place, but I do know that I really enjoyed Fall Guy, so
I did give Fall Guy a better rating. Oops. Shoot. How do we go back to that?
Wait, click on one of the click on one of the pictures. Huh.
No. Hold on. Let me refresh. Okay, here we go.
There we go.
So yeah. I guess I'd give it to Fall Guy personally.
All right. Let's give it to him.
All right. Next, Black with Wukong or Path of Exiles 2. Tyler?
I think I'm gonna have to give this to Black Myth. It was hype when it came out. It was incredible.
You not Astrobot after all.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I think.
I think I agree. I am very, very excited to play Black Myth, and I would play it before Path of Exile 2 as of right now. So
yeah,
I'm good with that. And then we got Space Marine 2 versus Marvel Rivals. This is gonna be harder for you.
40K.
I concur. I agree.
It looks better.
Probably agree.
Stories. There's a story there.
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals is just a hero shooter that's fun. So
yeah, I agree. All right. Back at top, Penguin Shogun.
So many good shows.
I know. Really good shows. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
going
Penguin, but
I know I'm the swing vote here on this one.
Yeah.
Because I've seen both. It's gonna go to Penguin.
Okay.
You
already know.
Like, it's the perfect show. It really
is. It is. And it's Batman.
This is up to you guys, though. This is up to you guys.
This is where it gets hard because I haven't seen Transformers, so I don't know. My only history is that the Transformers movies in general suck. So I would pick Fall Guy, but maybe this is really good. I don't know.
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I can say. I don't know. I loved it. So,
Well, Tyler, if you had to watch one of these, which would you pick to watch first?
Transformers 1.
All right, fine.
we'll go with that. Come on, we are the talking nerds after all. So,
Yeah.
oh boy, this is
Um, based on the one that I'm going to play because I want to, 40K. It also got a lot of online traction. Like,
I
people loved
think,
it.
yeah, I think I'm gonna love both of these games, but I think I'll probably have more fun with Space Marine 2 because Black Myth Wukong is gonna be frustrating at times. Because what I've heard is there's so many bosses that it's just like too many bosses almost, where it's like you beat one that you spend a lot of time on, and then you basically walk 10 feet and there's another one. It's like, ugh, there's no breaks really. So I think I'm gonna enjoy Space Marine 2 overall a lot more. And I just love Warhammer, so I'm willing to give it to that.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Cool. Now,
Oh,
I think this is where sorry, Transformers.
yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace. You had a good run.
All
You had a
right,
good run.
Optimus Prime.
You know what? Do we need to finish this out? Like, actually, I don't.
Do we?
I think we know
Okay.
at this point, right?
We know.
Yeah.
All
We
right,
know.
we did it,
All
guys.
right.
Penguin, Transformers, and Space Marine had a good
Are
run.
we
All
picking
right.
the best of the worst or the
So, no,
worst?
okay.
of the worst?
Now we gotta think differently. Now we
Yeah.
gotta think which is worse. So which is the worst of the worst?
Okay. Rings of Power season 2.
Rings of
Rings of Power
Power.
season. I think we already know where this is going.
Yeah. I think
Overall.
so too.
No discussion needed.
Yep.
All right. This might be a little
Uh,
more difficult, maybe.
What's the
Nope.
left one?
So we got
Agatha.
Fallout and
Oh.
Agatha all along.
I haven't seen them, but I would say Agatha.
Agatha.
Okay.
So much worse than Fallout.
Yeah, you know
I
what?
at
You're
least
probably
enjoyed
right.
the first part of Fallout.
Yes.
I at least
yes.
enjoyed the first few episodes. I did not.
Which, by the way,
enjoy
you've watched it
middle
all, right? You watched it all?
Yeah.
We should do a review sometime. We should do that. All right. Yeah, I agree. Agatha is probably worse. All right. Echo versus the Acolyte.
Acolyte was worse, I would say.
Ew. I forgot about Echoes. I think it's worse.
Everybody forgot about Echo.
Is
I
that
think-
count for something? I mean, I didn't
think-
forget about it now because I knew it was going to be on this list, but like, I did genuinely forget about it at some point this year. Like, I spent
Yes.
a good 3 months not
You
realizing.
tend to
that it
forget what
existed.
came out in January, but yeah. Echo, if Echo was paired up against Agatha all along, I would have a harder time probably choosing. But I think Acolyte was just the most.
Acolyte was horrid.
Acolyte like
awful.
assassinated Star Wars. So
It truly did. It truly did.
okay, all right.
I'm giving
I'll
it to it.
pick. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Creature. We put the two animators up against Creature Commandos or Caped Crusader.
Creature.
I
Commandos,
haven't
I think.
officially watched Caped Crusader.
I haven't
because
watched
I didn't
Caped
want to taint Batman for myself. But Tyler and I watched the first 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say we did not finish the first episode
of Creature Commandos, and Tyler just. It was so bad. It was so bad. Every cringe joke in the book.
Yeah, I looked at him and I go, I'm not watching this anymore. I'm turning this.
No,
on.
we were just
we're
both
enjoying
just
our
like, what are we
Domino's
watching?
pizza.
And then you're like, I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
It was just
That's
silent
funny.
agreement. Just like, yep, we need to talk.
I actually made it farther than you guys.
Really?
I didn't think it was horrible. It's not good, but I didn't think it was like I would throw up at Acolyte 10 times over more than this show.
Yes.
Oh, sure. I mean, I barely even made it through the first like 5 minutes. I was already thinking like, I don't want to finish this. Like, I was already thinking that for Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Batman, so I don't know.
I want to give it to Cape Crusader though, because like, look at what they did to Penguin. Like,
Oh, that's who that is.
that's
Oh,
Penguin.
okay. Yeah. You know what I want to see in the
Penguin and
finals?
Penguin.
I want to see Penguin versus Penguin.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, what do we got here?
All right, so we got Madam Web versus Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim, which none of us have actually seen, but I've heard a lot about it and
Are we
in
boycotting
detail.
it?
We are boycotting it because it is based on 2 pages of the appendices of Lord of the Rings. They have 2 pages to work off of. How do you get 2 pages wrong?
See, I'd be willing to give the War of the Rohirrim the worst because of how
Disrespectful it is.
precious Lord of the Rings is, no pun intended. That like if you ruin that, if you hurt that, that's a big deal.
You made one of the coolest characters in the Lord of the Rings lore, the hammer dude, just like a total cuck. You also created an entire character based off of a barely mentioned female character from the appendices. She's mentioned once, and they don't even name her. So she's an unnamed character that they created an entire persona around.
Let's give it to the Rohirrim.
Madam Web was just, yeah, Morbius Part 2, you know.
I mean, Sydney Sweeney's in it, so
Sydney Sweeney, yeah, definitely it elevates that movie. So,
My wife
yeah.
just dropped off a bowl of popcorn for me.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's nice.
That's very nice. I don't have a wife,
I do.
but I will
She's making
soon.
dinner.
Anyways, so I'm gonna give it to the War of the Rohirrim.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
All right, then we got the 2 kind of like Gladiator style ones. We've got Rebel Moon Part 2 and
Oh, yeah.
Gladiator 2, both sequels. There you go.
I'm
We
gonna have to
destroyed
go.
Rebel Moon.
Yes, we did, and it's never
Yeah.
been released to public eyes. But hopefully one day it will. I'll release them together.
Yo,
Yes.
Rebel Moon.
I think Rebel Moon wins. All
One
right,
loses?
Alien Romulus versus Borderlands.
Oh,
Okay, look. This is actually going to be a little difficult because Borderlands is what a lot of people say one of the worst movies of the year. Just trash, total trash. Alien Romulus, though, just like Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, was just very disrespectful to Alien, and I love the Alien movies. The first 2, they're in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Well, sorry, top 10, I should say, because Lord of the Rings is up there at the top. So I think they really ruined the Alien franchise. They took the worst parts of the Prometheus stuff, threw it in there. They took the best, not the best, some of the most iconic parts of the original movies, and they just bastardized them, and they like just basically repeated, rinse and repeat, recycled them in really terrible ways. So I hated Alien Romulus, but also Borderlands. So
yeah. I'm gonna have to give this to Borderlands. I think.
yeah.
I'll
I
agree.
at least enjoyed some of Romulus up to a certain point.
Listen. All I'm gonna say. Even though you're not a fan, I know people who like the movie, but I don't know a single person who liked Borderlands.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm willing to give it to that. Yeah, I just had to get my little rant out.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Then we got the 2 superhero movies. We got Venom: The Last Dance versus Joker.
But Venom he takes over a horse. How is this the worst movie?
I actually kind of had fun with Venom: Last Dance, but in a really like Pacific Rim, but like still
Hey,
worse.
Careful.
Hey, Pacific Rim mentioned.
It was funny, at least. Like it was kind of like this is a really silly movie, but it was just dumb. It was really stupid. Joker 2, I don't think I could ever watch it. It's that bad.
Yeah.
This is probably the worst movie of the year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I haven't seen
Yep.
either, but I'd be willing to give it to Joker.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch Joker. I still kind of want to watch Venom too.
Right.
Okay, now we have to go to games. The thing about these is
Yay.
most of them we haven't really played, so it's really just
Yeah, because they're
based on what we've
bad.
been hearing. Exactly, because there's a lot of terrible games. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League versus Skull and Bones. This is a no-brainer for me. I just had
Yeah.
to throw
Okay.
Skull and Bones in because I needed
Yep.
another one. But Suicide, you killed Batman.
100%.
You disrespected my boy. I can't allow that. All right, now we got the 2 dragon-themed ones. We got Dragon Age Veilguard. Whew. Very, very cringe. Holy crap. It's so cringe. They literally make a character do push-ups because they misgendered somebody. So, and then Dragon's Dogma 2, which definitely, I think this goes to Veilguard. Dragon's Dogma 2 wasn't a terrible game. I just did not like it at all. I thought it was like, so boring, and very repetitive. I just did not like it. So, but I'm
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age just SJW bullcrap. So, all right.
Oh,
I think we know the answer to this one. So this is Star Wars Outlaws versus
That is-
Helldivers 2
why is Helldivers down here?
because I needed options, and
Oh,
it wasn't.
well,
It's definitely not one of the best games of the year.
I would have put
So-
it mid tier. Like it was hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just based on everything that happened after the fact, though, with it,
I guess. All right. Yeah. Outlaws.
Outlaws still wins.
Not even close. I think this is
Yes.
the easiest one. Yeah.
Okay, now we got the 2.
Oh, you don't even have like an official gameplay picture of Concord.
I struggled to find a picture for Concord, to be honest. It was really difficult. So Concord, we got a little. I mean, both of these kind of tell you this. The other one's Dustborn. They really kind of tell you what the game's all about,
I mean,
which is identity politics.
one of them
And
got shut down in a week. So
which is worse, the one that got shut down in a week, or the one that basically the character dialogue options are saying should I call him a bigot? Should I call him a racist? Should I call him? Those are your dialogue options in this game. That one is still up and running though.
yeah,
So,
I'm gonna have to give this to Concord.
Yeah, I would say in a world where stuff like the one on the right still survives, if the Concorde didn't even survive in this world, probably that
Hey,
one.
valid point.
I agree. All right, cool.
Oh.
I think Rings of Power is more damaging.
Now
agree.
these 2 were out at the same time, and we kind of just like we've only talked about Rings of Power. It was that bad. We didn't talk about Agatha a lot. So yeah, I would give it to Rings of Power.
I agree.
As much as I want to see
I
the
know.
Penguins face off.
That one doesn't even deserve to look at Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Right. Now this one's a little more difficult.
Ooh.
War of the Rohirrim versus Rebel Moon 2.
I might have to give this to Rebel Moon 2. Personally.
This one is a little harder because we haven't seen War of the Rohirrim. We don't really know how bad it is.
But we have Rings of Power to cover the offensive Lord of the Rings side. So
That's true. That's a good point.
I feel like
good.
like Rings of Power might be bad and make you mad, kind of bad. Rebel
I don't
Moon is
know.
just bad, laugh your head off because it's so bad.
Yes. It's more cringe.
It's so cringe.
Nerdrotic said that War of the Rohirrim is Rings of Power level bad.
Oh.
So, and
Oh.
he's like a huge Tolkien fan. So, I don't know.
He calls him the professor.
Yes, he does.
I'm personally going to give this to
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon.
Yeah, and I don't think either of these beats Rings of Power ultimately.
No.
anyways.
No.
That's
right.
fair.
So
All right, that's fine. All right, Joker 2 or Borderlands?
Okay, I'm going to use my same argument. Nobody likes Borderlands. I at least know some people who enjoy
Nobody likes Joker 2.
I know people who enjoyed it.
Who? The one friend that we both know that I won't mention because
Yeah,
I don't want to dox them on the.
yeah.
Yeah, but they like everything though, so they
But
probably like
one-
Borderlands.
But one is better than none.
I don't know, dude. I disagree.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I think Joker 2 is just because of what they did to Joker 1, it made people
But
not
you didn't
even want
like Joker 1.
No, I don't care for Joker, but a lot of people love Joker and they don't even want to watch it anymore because of what Joker 2 did to it. They retconned it. I think it's more damaging.
I think it's
personally.
going to be irrelevant in the next round, but
Yeah, that's fair. Go. You can give it to Joker. That's
I'd give it to Joker. So okay. All right. We got Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, or Dragon Age Veilguard. So this one's hard because in terms of damaging, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League would probably win, but in terms of just terrible, bad, I don't know. Dragon Age probably.
I mean, if you're doing DEI push-ups in a game, I think
I think that's pretty bad. Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
I don't know.
Ooh. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad got press and media attention because it was
Angering.
angering and it was a bold move. Let's just say that. Bold move to kill Batman. I haven't heard jack about Dragon Age, and I think that's because nobody's playing it.
It's true.
So,
It's true. I've heard more about it because I'm in that world. Like I listen to those
Okay.
podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen gameplay for both. I think Suicide Squad looks more fun in terms of just like gameplay,
Yeah.
but I would probably be more angry with it than I would with Dragon Age. I would be laughing at Dragon Age the entire time. So
Okay. All right. We can give it to the Suicide Squad then.
yeah, I think that's.
Oh. gosh.
I'm sorry. I think Star Wars Outlaws wins this. It is terrible. It is so bad. I don't know. I don't really know much about Concord other than the facts.
that it got shut down. I think. Okay.
Well,
we can
I've
only
seen
use that for
I've
so
seen a lot of
much,
Star
right?
Wars Outlaws. I've seen a lot of Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. I feel like I've played it. I've watched
Well,
some.
you haven't seen a lot of Concord because it got shut down.
It's true. It's true.
So, listen, I was gonna say it, but as I'm thinking about it more, I don't think it matters. If your game gets shut down, it's the worst. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
It didn't even last a week, dude. Like,
that is fair. That is fair.
at least Outlaws still has support, and yeah, granted, it's what Ubisoft, and they're but anyway, but
And
At least
it's
it's
just
still running.
extremely broken game. But yeah, you're probably right.
you know what I'm saying? Like
This
if you
is
don't
this hurts.
if you don't give Concord like worst game of the year, like what's worse than that? Like I'm sorry, but it literally
Okay.
got shut down.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Uh,
All right.
man.
We'll get back to games.
oh, ooh,
Okay,
That's
this is probably
tough.
going to be the most difficult one
yeah.
in here.
And I
Yeah.
might be in the minority, but I think Acklay takes it. And here are my things.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I don't even know if it's gonna stand that well, but all right. At the end, it severely damaged one of the most beloved big screen characters of all time. It also,
Okay.
second to that, it literally goes against everything that is known to be true in the Star Wars universe. Like
Okay.
everything about
Can
the
I-
Force, about characters. It's just a full-on Assassin's Creed assassination attempt.
But you could say all the same things about Rings of Power. In fact, let's compare that first thing you talked about.
And this is why
You're talking about Yoda. You're talking about Yoda, right?
Yes.
we've compared Yoda and Gandalf on many occasions. They're very
Yes.
similar characters in their roles in the universes.
Yes.
I would argue they destroyed Gandalf more than they destroyed Yoda, because Yoda at least didn't say a single word in Acolyte. They didn't even
True.
show his face.
Yeah.
Gandalf was a babbling idiot the entire time. Like, just total character assassination.
Yeah.
All right, and if you're gonna compare a couple more characters, you think of bad guys, like compare Sauron and what they did to Sauron, compared to what's his name, the big bad in
Palpatine?
no, not Palpatine, the guy who's
Oh, in
Plagueis.
Acolyte?
Darth
Plagueis.
Plagueis.
Oh,
so
Plagueis, yes.
Plagueis and Sauron.
Again, they showed Plagueis' face, but he didn't say a single word. Yes, a lot of the things you could argue a lot on what were the basis of his decisions going forward. But
All right.
in terms of keeping just focusing on Rings of Power and the Acolyte, not looking at a broader aspect, I would say Rings of Power was worse.
Okay. Now let me enter my trap card. They
Okay.
obviously suck at the assassinations, right?
Yes.
But imagine a story so bad that the characters you're killing don't even have to say anything for you to kill them. At least they're so underdeveloped of a story. At least Rings of Power, I'm not going to say to its credit because it doesn't deserve any credit, but at least Rings of Power has a story worth telling. Debatably.
It was just told really awfully. Now, one
Correct.
thing I would ask myself is, if they've destroyed Lord of the Rings versus destroying Star Wars, it does hurt more to destroy Lord of the Rings in my mind than it does to destroy Star Wars.
Yeah, and I
But I
would
hear
be
but I
that's
hear your
why I think
arguments too.
I'm on the other side of the aisle, right? Because that's my love.
Gotcha.
But I think if you compare story to story, I think Acolyte has absolutely a worse story. Why are you even talking about these people? They're not even worth anything.
I would say in terms of, okay, there's three things here. There's lore breaking, there's quality of the show itself, the two shows next to each other, and then there's what was the third thing I was thinking of? Okay, well, let's talk about lore breaking for a second. In terms of lore break, the third thing is just damage overall to the universe. So lore breaking, I believe Lord of the Rings Rings of Power beats Acolyte out in terms of lore breaking. There's more breaking of lore that happens in that show. Everything is practically lore breaking in it. On the flip, damage to the universe, you could kind of pair with that. I think maybe Acolyte beats that out because it is so close to the rest of Star Wars in terms of timeline than Lord Rings of Powers. That's thousands
Rings of
of
Power
years
did
before.
mess up the timeline though, so that
It did.
has to count for something.
It did, but it's not as immediate as Acolyte would have had an effect. That doesn't make sense. You could probably say, okay, maybe some things figured its way out. But in terms of lore, I mean, just the way the rings were created, Sauron, all the characters, everything was just destructive.
I
So
agree.
we were talking about those things. Now let's just talk about overall cringe and terribleness of the show. I still think Rings of Power is worse.
I
Which
would
is
probably
so hard to fight those. They're totally both bad, but like, gosh, Rings of Power was bad.
I would give cringe factor to Acolyte probably slightly because that was just so cringy. I mean, Rings of Power just made you angry. Like, what are you doing? Like,
there's a lot of cringe characters though. I mean, Galadriel alone. I mean, let's look at Galadriel versus like Osha or May, right?
Not even. I was going to compare her to
Who's the worst girl boss? Who's the worst girl boss?
The green-headed bald lady with the purple whip. With the whip.
True. I don't really know if there's anyone to compare her to in Rings of Power, but
ultimately what it comes down to is who wrote
Elrond versus Master Soul, you know.
What it comes down to is who wrote the better fanfic. Right? That's what these are.
The worst fanfic. Yes, you're correct.
Right. Yeah. Best or worst, whatever you want to say.
I don't know,
I-
man. I stand by Lord Rings of Power. I stand with Rings of Power.
I'm gonna stand by Acolyte, but I understand if it doesn't win.
Buffalo Bick,
So
you are
it's-
the
so Nick.
deciding factor.
I think I'm gonna have to lean on the fact that because I enjoy Lord of the Rings more, it hurts more. So I'm gonna have to go with Rings of Power, I think. But that is the toughest decision of the night, I think.
Yeah,
I
I think both of them earned that spot, but I think
I
Rings of Power is
accept.
slightly worse.
I accept.
All right, Rebel Moon Part 2, Joker 2. I don't know. We're running out of time here, so I'm gonna just give it to Joker 2.
Okay, I agree.
And then last thing is game Suicide Squad versus Concord.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna use my same argument.
I'll just accept your argument, whatever.
Thank you.
Matter anymore.
Yeah. This.
Rings of Power.
Yeah.
And then Rings of Power.
Rings of
Okay,
Power.
so now the hardest, the second
Hey.
hardest.
Note. 2
Yes.
shows.
2 shows.
Oh yeah.
Best and worst of the year. This is 2. This is true. All right, so I kind of had a feeling these 2 would be in the final,
Yeah.
the championship. So the argument here then was Penguin's best more bigger, I guess, bigger than Rings of Power's worst? You know, does the bestness of Penguin beat out the worstness of Rings of Power? Because that's kind of
Does
how you
good
have to look
overcome
at it.
evil? Does good overcome evil?
Of course it does, but that's not the
Right.
argument here. It's
Well,
Penguin is also technically evil.
was our
I know.
emotion in terms of how much we liked Penguin bigger than our emotion of how much we hated Rings of Power?
In my mind, no. I think I hated Rings of Power more than I was like, wow, this is really good and I'm enjoying this show. But thinking in the context of good movies and good shows, is it the very best that's ever been out there? Or is Rings of Power one of the worst things that has ever come out?
Yeah.
I think Penguins is that good. Like I would put it on an all-time list. Personally.
It's got some
I-
really great ratings.
I would put it on an all-time list. I'm not sure where, but I put it on there.
This is hard for me. I would like to see Penguin, just this big picture right there. But I don't know. I despise Rings of Power. It's hard. It's really hard. It's really difficult. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because we can say, okay, Penguin's the best and Rings of Power is the worst. But this is more for the sake of this game. So
Okay.
I don't know.
I want to talk about the feat that Penguin achieved. Okay.
Okay.
We got a show completely in universe of Batman without touching Batman, destroying Batman, and keeping Batman sacred, while also fleshing out one of his villains in a way that gets the audience excited for the next chapter of said Batman, sacred Batman. I think that is a feat in today's media, personally. I really do. As we saw with Acolyte, as we saw with Rings of Power, as we saw with Joker, as we saw with Venom, all of these bad worsts of the years are your sequels or in universes that they're trying to extend, and they failed. So I think it's a feat, and I think it should be noted for such. Now, it's really hard because so much destruction happens in Rings of Power, and it's kind of hard to argue that like a good piece of media like bolsters one, because like that IP, like Batman already has so much greatness in it. Like it added stuff, like it added good stuff to like the IP of Batman, but like that doesn't outweigh the damage. It's a lot easier to do damage than to like build more. You know what I'm saying?
That is
like,
true. That's a good point.
It's going to be very skewed, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I think personally, I would love to see Colin Farrell's face in that big box.
Yeah.
That
I
is
also-
my.
I also think, just as a non-argument kind of, it'd be better to see good win over the worst, you know,
I agree.
and not to give Rings of Power that platform.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think in an unbiased way here, I was probably more angry with Rings of Power Season 1 than I was with Season 2 because I knew what to expect going into Season 2. Not saying it's better or worse than Season 1. They're both diabolical. But I knew what to expect. I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised with Penguin. So my excitement for it went up continuously every week. Like it was a joy when Sunday came around and I
Yep.
knew I could watch Penguin. So yeah, I would say, yeah, Penguin. I'm going to put Penguin in there if you guys are good with it.
Let's
I'm
do
so
it.
good with it.
All righty. All right, cool. There it is,
Another
guys.
L for Rings of Power. Suck it.
Yeah, ultimately Acolyte is a very, very close second to
Yeah.
Rings of Power,
Yeah.
but I still have to give it to them. But
Yep.
we got a lot of trash this year. But we
Yeah,
got
we did.
some good things. So yeah. Next year, probably gonna be a little more difficult to choose.
We'll see.
But we do have a new Game of Thrones show coming out next year. We got the was it Night of the Seven Kingdoms coming out next year. So hopefully that's good. And yeah, maybe some good games and who knows, some stuff that'll surprise us, I imagine.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, because I think that was kind of the most of the good stuff this year was surprises. So
Yeah.
But yeah. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched us this year. It's been a pleasure and it's been a lot of fun. So another year. We didn't get a lot done that we wanted to this year in terms of content. But I think we're starting to get better in our groove. And so hopefully we can pick up some more things next year and enhance our content even more. But yeah, we're excited for the new year and go follow us on our X accounts over there. It's actually probably better to follow our personal accounts than the Talking Nerds one because we barely post on Talking Nerds, and if we do, I usually repost it anyways. So on my personal.
Yep.
But anyways, so yeah, go follow us there. Go check out our Discord. I actually fully boosted it today. So because I was like, you know what, Merry Christmas. So there's lots of fun stuff to do on there. And yeah, keep in touch with us. We'll be back in probably 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know yet. At most a month. But yeah, we're gonna take some time off for Christmas and New Year's. So Merry Christmas to everybody out there. And we will see you in the new year, nerds. Peace
See ya.
out.